I went to an event today and met Giada. Giada De Laurentiis. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name. I call her Giada, especially now that we met. I mean, like, we kind of met. We were in the same venue. We took a picture together, but I, I'll show you the picture because it was a very weird scenario. But anyway, this is part of what I'm doing. I'm looking up the things that happen around New York that are basically free. The events that happen. Today's event was like focaccia and beer. I'll tell you about it. The other day, we got like free lunch from a new restaurant that opened up, and a lot of people's promos is like, hey, come taste our food, come have our food, come be in our place. And then there's the movies outdoors and the summer streets that we're going to do this weekend, which is you're on a bike and it's car free for a couple miles. That's really good. So today's event was at a restaurant. And so here's the thing. We're going to be doing this kind of as a way to find a location to bike to. We're biking every day. And it's, what happens is when you bike every day, you go, okay, where do you want to go? Well, we already went to here and we already went to, and we're sort of limited because we know about New York. This is a way to get to venues that we normally wouldn't go to go to events that potentially we have no business being at. I don't really know, but it's kind of fun because at the end of the day, even if the event or the movie or the anything, the food, even if it was bad, it's just the bike ride for the day. So today's bike ride, we found ourselves in what is that area called? The Meatpacking District. Okay, so it's about like 14th Street and 8th Avenue. So that's on the west side. It's in the lower part of Manhattan, and it's a place called the Park Gate is the restaurant. So, what are you? It's the lower part of Manhattan. You're gonna be what? What did I say wrong? It was a, I know, but first we found ourselves in the meatpacking district. So yeah, he's pointing out that I got the address wrong. I'll get to that. I'll get to that because when I got to the meatpacking district, like my introduction to the meatpacking district was 30 years ago, just as it was finishing being meatpacking district and beginning to be one of the most expensive areas in Manhattan. And it went from this is where you pack meat. So my introduction was a place called The Cooler, and it was a venue that I had never been at. My friend and I met someone a couple weeks before at a restaurant. Turns out he's a musician. He's got a show coming up. We got a flyer. I think we were on the list or whatever. It all felt very cool. It was in the meatpacking district, which we did not know what the meatpacking district was because you didn't, because it wasn't restaurants and event spaces and rock bars or whatever. It was industrial. It was actual giant things of meat being stored and moved and utilized and whatever they did. See how I don't know? Because I had no business knowing. It wasn't my business. But now it was switching over, and this must have been either the first venue or one of the first venues, because when we got to this area, it was so scary because parts of cities or New York, or maybe it's just me, the like rural areas, parts that are super dark really scare me. I feel like that's where things pop out. That's like very Children of the Corn or something. But even the city, when it's completely dark, because we're so used to, I think, the lights of every street. This was, people went home after they went to work, but we're looking for a place called The Cooler that was recommended to us because we met some guy who was doing a show there that we had never seen before in our lives. So now we're thinking, uh-oh, what did we get ourselves into? But we found the venue very cool. It's called The Cooler. Speaking of cool, it's called The Cooler because they used to hang meat there, and it was a cooler for the meat. So they left the meat hooks in the ceilings. So this was now a rock venue and a bar It was a really cool venue, but you also saw what it used to be, which is the hooks. And I don't remember anything. The hooks stood out very, very, very much. So that's what it was then. And it also, if you all ever watched Sex in the City, when Samantha she moves into the meatpacking district, which is so funny because they had her in one of the episodes. They had her say like, "Oh my God, a pottery barn. What else is next? Oh, and a Hummer pulls up in front of her building," and she's like, "Oh, these gentrifiers." And I'm like, "You started this. You're one of the first people." She got into a fight with what she called trannies, transsexuals, sex workers. She was paying $8,000 a month for a one room. You saw that was it. There wasn't a bedroom, a one room loft, beautiful loft, great area now, but it was $8,000. So that's before she came in. I think they were just joking that, she's now concerned about the gentrification because that's just so funny. But then it turned into the Samanthas of the world. It turned into, there's an Hermes, which I know about stuff like that. Oh, Samantha tried to buy herself what are the Hermes bags called? Burkas, Birkins, not burkas, Birkins. Alexander McQueen I saw there, and it's like, it's not like I know what Alexander McQueen is, but I heard it in a song, and it sounded very, very expensive. Google's office is there. The High Line is there. I mean, this is all very, very rich area. It turns out that's not where it was. We had to go about 10 blocks south of that, which is further. And when I first looked this up, this was 7 miles. So it was going to be a 14-mile trip. But when we started going, it was 10 miles. I think the 7 miles was just for the Crow's direction. So it was 10 miles, even further once we got to the West Village, which was like, I think this thing was on 3rd Street. Love the West Village. Hung out there as a teenager, girl in my 20s. Xerxes used to hang out there, and we joke like we probably passed each other a million times, like in our youth, in our adult life. And if we had tracking devices on us, I think we would have crossed paths so many times. We have the same stories about, the Comedy Cellar was right there. And this was before the Comedy Cellar was the Comedy Cellar. I mean, it had all of the headliners, but it wasn't known as much as when Louis C.K. started putting it in, a lot of comedians started putting it into their shows and movies and things. But we remember walking around there at like 1 a.m. and they were like, "Come in, no charge." They just wanted people like past midnight down there. It was kind of like very few people, but that's when the fun happened. It's such a cool area. Some of our favorite foods are down there. Joe's Pizza, Mamoon's. Anyway, so here it is. We're now in the right place. This place was way fancier than I thought it was going to be, because so far we've done things like get a burger from over here or get a falafel from over there. It was very fast foodish. This was a bar. We got a bracelet because now, we had to like go behind velvet ropes. There were walkie-talkie people involved, and I didn't pay attention from the promo. All I saw was focaccia, that we're going to get free focaccia. And then there was something about beer, and I'm like, oh, I like the focaccia idea. I didn't read Giada will be there. So I'm filming on the way up to what I think is just going to be the entrance to this bar. And the woman's like, "Oh, do you want me to take a picture? Do you want me to do it? Are you filming right now?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess you take it." And she's like, "Okay, go ahead with Giada." And I'm like, "What?" And I really lost my mind because she's one of the few celebrities that I know the name of. I used to watch the Food Channel like every day. So, and she made cool things. But here's what was weird. We were taking a picture. Can I use the word with for this picture? We were taking a picture with Giada, but she was like behind the wall through a peephole window, as if we're like, hey, Giada, we're just in the neighborhood. And she like peeks out her window like, hey, buddy. And then we took a picture. So, but I was like, I was a little bit of a spaz. I was like, oh my God, I love your cooking. She cooks good stuff that like it's a few too many steps for me, but I just love watching it. Um, mm, yummy and delicious. Anyway, so yeah, it's me with my helmet hair and Giotto, like, just looking like flawlessly makeup and stuff. So, yeah, and that was it. So we go inside, and this is one of those bars that has like the super thick napkins. Oh my God, is this cloth or napkin? I'm like, yeah, we're in our t-shirts and, kind of like bike outfits, whatever, our everyday clothes, and so are they, but this is slightly elevated. But again, I was in for the focaccia. We got a beer from Giada. Um, and the focaccia, so focaccia to me is the bread that has like a little bit of that roasted tomato on top or onions or something. It's like a really thin, not even like a full layer on top, but I kind of look forward to those bits of explosions in my mouth from those top bits. This was just the bread part, no top part. And I thought to qualify, like I'm ignorant. I thought to qualify as focaccia, you had to have those things, but I think those are extras. So we had what what I understand, there's some of this beer in the focaccia. The beer is, hold on, because that's who was giving us the focaccia. Peroni Nastro Azzurro, and is bringing Italy's century-old not bruschetta, del vino, wine window. Oh, that's why we were looking at Giada through a window. So they're bringing the wine window tradition to New York City with the debut of Peroni portals. Oh, I got my ID checked and everything. So we got like these 2 strips of focaccia. We got seconds also, and I'm pretty sure you could just take as many as you want, but we weren't savages about it. We got our seconds and we're good. And here's the problem. I don't like beer. I don't like alcohol in general, but I could do a wine. I could definitely do a mojito, or what are those brunch drinks? What are the brunch drinks? Bellinis, mimosas, champagne. Yeah, I'm one of those. But beer's really tough. But I was hoping this would be one of those like, you know, um not bougie beers, but like the Brooklyn beers where we have citrus in it and it kind of tastes like orange seltzer or something. But this was for real beer. This was like, I would compare it to Heineken, that bitterness where I can only take a sip and go, oh, this is not for me. I feel bad because I always want to give it to some people, somebody else. And then I remember it's beer and whatever. Xerxes drank his, and um and then on the way out, we were allowed to like take a tote and a beer koozie, but we opted out. I like totes, but we have so many that now I'm only adding like super good totes to the collection. Like I think the only tote I would allow in is one of those like we can have this on us no matter what, and then it opens up into this like fantastic tote, but not another heavy tote that takes up room. Cannot. You got to organize the totes now that nobody's giving out bags left and right, and then because we were in the West Village, I mean, we didn't spend that much time in there. And by the way, yes, Giada was famous and she was there. I think there were other famous people, but I think we just don't know who's famous. But there were like, I think that there was a guy where people were taking selfies with him. So that might be a thing. I don't know. But I recognize Giada. So shout out to you. And then because we're in the West Village, we love the West Village. We just walked around and there's just just walking around in the West Village, it's one of my favorite things to do. And I think we'll have to take you all on a walk there, like actually just walk through. Maybe we'll do a food tour. Maybe this is just an excuse where I want to do the food tour and just eat like a bite of all of our favorites. Some of our like most of our favorite foods can be found around there. So anyway, we're walking around and boom, more free food appeared. There was a hot dog cart that was giving out samples of hot dogs. Done and done. They also gave out these squishy hot dog things, like not edible, just like a fidgety type of squish and stickers and stuff. But it was just, that's New York. You run into some celebrities. You run into food, all of a sudden you're at an event and you're way underdressed and it's totally fine. But it was a good time. It was a very long bike ride. It was at least 20 miles. And then I checked I like to check my steps, and it was at least 10,000 steps on top of that. So that's a lot. And like I said, when we first moved back from Philly, like within the first week of us being here, we were walking so much more, even though Philly's a city also, but there's so much I don't even realize how much I'm walking sometimes. And that's why that tracker is good. Love tracking. Anyway, turned out to be an adventure. See, this is the thing. I don't want to make excuses to not use the city that I love, to not go to the things that people are like, they're promoting you to come to do, and it doesn't have to be a $500 ticket to something or, someone. Giada's inviting you. I met Giada today. Whatevs. Just another New York City day. And who do we normally see in the West? No, I don't want to out her, but like we always see like celebrities in the city. We just don't know who they are. But there's some where it's like, oh, I actually know you. And no one's allowed to say anything because then they can't live amongst the regulars. Don't make it weird. We just go, and then we continue moving. We don't even make that face. No, we poker face it. All right. So I'm going to keep doing this and keep reporting back. I'm taking more pictures. I'm getting used to like taking the pictures and sort of like, because I want to show it, and what happens is I'm showing it. I'm so busy showing it to myself, I don't take the picture to document it, to see it a year later, to show you, to have it. And now there's pictures of us. Duh. All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for clicking buttons and subscribing and doing all that. Good night. Go out. Yay.